Everyone thinks Liam Callahan lied to get close to a billionaire. They are wrong. He lied to stay alive. The internet does not care about the difference. By Monday morning, a shaky classroom clip is everywhere. A billionaire walks into a school, calls a quiet boy by name, and the teacher who accused him of cheating looks ready to faint. The video is 10 seconds long. The noise it causes is endless. Comment sections explode. Secret heir. Stolen child. Illegitimate son. Liar. No one knows the boy's name yet. Everyone wants to. Liam watches the chaos from a steel table in a secure underground room beneath Callahan Group. Hoodie sleeves shoved up, hands locked together. He stares at the wall-sized monitor while his stomach twists. The feed spits out headlines and guesses. Who is the boy? Why did he lie? Guardian or father? He flinches when one line appears. Why do you lie about your guardian? The words hit hard because they are not new. He spent years letting people assume he was nothing. No guardian. No connections. Just an ordinary kid with an ordinary life. It was easier to let them believe the lie. Until the day a billionaire pulled him out of class in front of everyone. Close the feed, Callahan says behind him. Hannah taps a key. The screen goes black. The silence that follows feels heavier than the noise. You told me not to look, Liam says. I thought I could handle it. You cannot compete with the internet, Callahan replies. You outthink it. You do not stare at it until it eats you. Liam tries to breathe slower. They are calling me a liar again. They always did, Callahan says. The difference now is that they have cameras. And reach, Liam mutters. And time. Yes. Which is why we respond now, before curiosity becomes something worse. Worse than being dragged all over social media? Callahan's gaze sharpens. Worse than being hunted. The word freezes him. If you are listening to this and you are already curious, hit subscribe and keep watching, because this is the moment Liam realizes the problem is not the rumor. It is who the rumor will attract. The elevator ride to the 32nd floor feels too short. 1 second, he is underground. The next, he is stepping into a briefing room where 4 serious journalists wait. No gossip channels. No live stream. Not yet. Cameras flash as Callahan walks to the podium. This matter is about privacy, not deception, he says. His voice is steady, controlled, the kind people lean in to hear. I responded to an emergency call from a student under my legal protection. He has chosen to remain anonymous. That choice is for his safety. A reporter lifts a hand. Is the boy your son? He is family, Callahan answers. Nothing more. So you hid him? I protected him. Another leans forward. If that is true, why is there no public record of him? Not everything that is legal is public, Callahan says. Not everything that is private is dishonest. He confirms nothing, explains nothing, shields everything. An hour later, the headlines twist his words anyway. Secret child under billionaire's care. Guardian confirms mystery boy. Why lie if there is nothing to hide? That last one follows Liam back into the secure room. They think I lied before, he says quietly. And now they think I am lying again. They think what fits their story, Hannah answers, sliding a tablet toward him. Not what is true. You should see this. A government seal sits at the bottom of a message. Not local. Federal. They want identity verification, documentation, psychological evaluation, information on the incident 10 years ago. Liam's chest tightens. He knows exactly what that means. The night his mother died. They say they want proof, he whispers. They want jurisdiction, Hannah says. There is a difference. Callahan steps in as she speaks. They get only what we cannot avoid giving. No origin details. No open doors into that night. Why now? Liam asks. Why push so hard? Because someone leaked enough to make them nervous, Callahan replies. And nervous people with power reach for control. Hannah's screen lights again. A live feed appears. The school. Black SUVs at the entrance. Suits talking to administrators. Students crowding the windows. Liam leans in as Miss Harrington steps in a frame, talking fast. He cannot hear the words, but he recognizes the posture. She points to his empty desk. She gestures, reenacting the accusation. He sees fear in her face, and something else. Self-preservation. She is rewriting everything, he says, making herself look reasonable. People will always protect their own story first, Callahan says, especially when they are guilty. The official shows her a blurred screenshot of the classroom video. The moment that exposed him is now evidence. The camera shifts. Another figure steps beside the official. Older, Colder. Wearing a badge with the same symbol on the email. That is the same department, Liam says. They are not here for a school report, Callahan replies. They are here for history. Mine. Your mother's. Liam looks down at the folder Callahan slides in front of him. This belonged to someone who knew her before I did, Callahan says. We think that person contacted us 3 days ago and left a message. They want you to know the truth she died for. Liam opens the folder. The first page is a photo of a woman with dark hair and a steady gaze. Her eyes look like his mother. Beside her stands someone in a hospital badge, a logo he now recognizes as the same government branch outside his school. She worked there, Liam says. Yes, on something called Helix Protocol. Before he can ask more, Hannah cues up an audio file. The voice is distorted. You are searching the wrong files. Look at the prototypes she worked on before the hospital transfer. It is not the boy's identity that matters. It is what she discovered. The message ends. Liam's pulse pounds. What did she discover, he asks. A medical program with global implications, Callahan answers. Genetic research. Immune response. Viral resistance. The kind of thing governments fight over. So I am connected to that. You are connected to her, Callahan says. And that is enough. Alarms flash on an overhead panel. System breach. Encrypted archives accessed by administrator clearance. Hale, Hannah says. Director level. A security feed shows Director Hale at a terminal, trying to pull data from a restricted vault. Guards surround him on Callahan's order. He lies. He evades. He glances at Liam once, sharp and bitter. You should have told him, Hale says. He deserves to know what he is. You hid him. You buried the truth. You let him grow up thinking this was about a guardian when it was never about that. Enough, Callahan says. Hale ignores him and looks directly at Liam. Your mother did not just run from a project, Hale says. She ran from the man who funded it. The man on your birth certificate. The floor seems to tilt. Before Liam can press him, external alarms rise again. Unknown drones close in. Systems cut in and out. The building shifts into full lockdown. They move to a secure elevator. It jerks, stops mid-shaft. The hatch above rattles. Someone is opening it from outside. Hannah draws her weapon. A masked figure drops into the car. No uniform. No insignia. Just precision and purpose. A small black drive rests in their gloved hand, identical to the one Hannah used earlier. You sent the first message, Callahan says. I did, the stranger answers. Their voice is digitally blurred. And you are wasting time. Why help us? Callahan demands. I am not helping you, the figure says. I am helping him. They look straight at Liam. Your mother trusted me. She called me the last safeguard. If you want the truth about who you are and why they are hunting you, you need to leave this country. There is a facility in her homeland. That is where she hid the rest of Helix. That is where your story really starts. The elevator lurches back into motion, rerouted. The stranger shoves the drive into Hannah's hand. Everything I know is on there. It will not be enough on its own. You will need what she left behind. Who are you? Liam asks. Someone who owes your mother a debt, the figure says. And someone your father would rather you never meet. The hatch opens again. The stranger climbs out and vanishes. Liam grips the folder, the drive, and the fragment of a life he thought he understood. The world thinks he lied about his guardian. The truth is worse. He lied about his guardian because someone lied about him first. And now that lie is cracking in front of everyone. If you want to see how far this goes and what Liam does when the world that doubted him starts hunting him, make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss what comes next. The stranger's warning hangs in the air long after the elevator doors shut. Liam follows Callahan and Hannah through a restricted corridor, deeper into the building. His heartbeat hasn't slowed since the masked figure told him his mother trusted them. He doesn't know whether that should comfort him or terrify him. On the command floor, the atmosphere is different. Not frantic, focused. The walls hum with encrypted communication. Analysts track heat signatures and satellites. The tension is quiet and efficient, like a machine powering up for war. Callahan walks fast, but not aimlessly. Every step is calculated. Are we running? Liam asks. No, Callahan says. We are preparing. Hannah updates him while walking. 3 drones neutralized. 2 vehicles in pursuit. Whoever deployed them doesn't care about subtlety. Which means they're confident, Callahan mutters. Or desperate. Liam tries to process the word desperate. Whoever wants him doesn't want to expose him. They want to reach him before someone else does. Why now, he asks. Callahan stops in front of a reinforced door. His voice lowers. Because secrecy was your shield. That classroom video destroyed it. The realization hits harder than accusations ever did. He didn't just lose anonymity. He lost protection. Inside the command room, security feeds flicker. A map pinpoints potential extraction routes. Hannah brings up encrypted archives. Files labeled Helix. Others labeled Incident. Liam sees something he's never seen before. Fear behind Callahan's eyes. Not panic. Fear born from knowledge. What did my mother actually do? Liam presses. Callahan doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he points to a photo of a research facility, abandoned, isolated. She was the lead scientist in immunological resistance. She developed theoretical means to prevent pandemics. But the man funding the project wanted something more than prevention. What? Liam asks. Selection. The word chills him. Deciding who gets access, Hannah clarifies. Who lives? Who doesn't? Liam feels sick. So she ran. Yes, Callahan says. And she hid you. Hannah turns a screen. Surveillance images of Liam, years old, taken across different cities. Him on a playground. Him walking home. Him at a grocery store. Someone has been watching longer than he imagined. Why keep this from me, he asks. Callahan's jaw tenses. If you knew, you would look. If you looked, they would follow. Ignorance kept you invisible. And now? Liam asks. You are no longer invisible, Callahan answers. We must adapt. Movement on the screens interrupts them. Agents entering the school. Questioning students. Searching records. Images printed. Screenshots replayed. They're building a narrative, Hannah says. One that makes you look unstable. Liam watches Miss Harrington gesture dramatically, portraying him as dangerous, obsessive, dishonest. His classmates nod along. Fear spreads because fear is easier than doubt. Watching them believe lies feels worse than hearing them. He turns away from the screen. So what am I supposed to do? Callahan studies him for a long second. You learn. You prepare. And you don't let other people define your truth. It's not comfort. It's a directive. Before Liam can ask more, the building shakes, soft, controlled. Not an explosion. A breach test. Hannah stiffens. They're probing our defense grid. Meaning? Liam asks. Meaning we have minutes, she says. Callahan signals the guards. Move us to sublevel 4. They enter a freight elevator. The descent is silent except for the hum of power. Sublevel 4 is colder. Industrial. Not meant for show or visitors. This is where we kept emergency contingencies, Callahan says. Liam scans the room. Armored vehicles. Survival crates. Burners. Hard drives. Files. Not military. Defensive. Hannah opens a crate with medical vials. What is that? Liam asks. Your mother's work side product. Stabilizers. She destroyed most of her research before fleeing, but fragments remain. Liam touches none of it. It feels like opening a grave. Callahan steps close. You are not defined by Helix, he says. Your mother did not want you to inherit a project. She wanted you to inherit choice. Liam swallows hard. I want answers. You will get them, Callahan says. But answers without safety are useless. Security personnel load equipment. Doors unseal. Engines rev. An extraction convoy forms with fluid precision. Liam watches soldiers, techs, and analysts move like pieces of a plan long rehearsed. A plan built for a moment Callahan hoped would never come. As they board the armored vehicle, Liam asks one last question. If she died protecting Helix, if she died protecting me, why didn't she trust the government? Why didn't she trust you? Callahan's gaze shifts, pain flickering beneath steel. She trusted me more than anyone else, he says. And that was not enough. The convoy rolls out. Night falls over the city. And for the first time, Liam understands something. He is not being hunted because he knows too much. He is being hunted because he might learn everything. The city blurs past in streaks of neon and sirens as the convoy cuts through the night. Liam sits beside Hannah in the armored vehicle, fingers curled tight around the folder containing fragments of his mother's past. Outside, motorcycles weave in and out of traffic, trying to keep pace. It's not clear whether they're enemies or curious bystanders. Uncertainty itself becomes a threat. Callahan monitors live feeds from the front. Don't assume the first wave was the only one, he warns. If they tracked us this quickly, they've been preparing. Liam tries to ignore the tremor beneath the tires as they accelerate over a bridge. What happens if they catch us? They won't, Hannah replies. But she doesn't sound convinced. The convoy exits the highway and turns onto an older industrial route. Warehouses loom like silent witnesses. The chosen road is narrow, not ideal, but predictable patterns would be worse. The lead vehicle scouts ahead. The second shields the transport van carrying Liam. At a red light, a single black sedan glides into view behind them. Too clean. Too calm. Callahan watches it in the monitor, unreadable. Maintain speed. Do not react. Let them show intent. Intent arrives quickly. The sedan keeps perfect distance, neither closing nor falling back. Its windows are tinted, no plates visible. Liam watches it until Hannah blocks the rear view. Don't engage with fear, she says. Engage with information. He forces himself to breathe slower. The sedan vanishes after the next turn. It doesn't comfort him. Predators retreat when they're confident, not when they're scared. Minutes later, the convoy reaches a secure hangar, one of Callahan Group's private aviation hubs. The doors open and swallow them inside. Only then does the tension loosen. Guards fan out. Technicians prepare the jet, sitting on the runway beyond. Inside the hangar office, Hannah spreads maps and encrypted files across a steel table. We have 3 exit options, she says. The government will lock domestic airports first. Private airfields second. Seaports last. We need the route with the smallest response time. Callahan stands beside her. Air is faster. Sea is safer. Neither is guaranteed. Liam studies the map. You've planned this before. Callahan nods once. Contingency planning is not a sign of paranoia. It's a sign of experience. A nearby monitor shows news reports spinning wild theories. Talk shows speculate on his identity. Commentators frame him as a symbol, either of corruption or conspiracy. None of them speak about him as a person. It stings more than he expected. He was invisible yesterday. Now he's a headline. And neither version feels real. Hannah switches the feed to something else. Internal scans of the facility tied to Helix. Liam steps closer. What is that place? Your mother's last workplace before she vanished, Hannah says. Everything started there. And ended there. He stares at the outline of the structure. Isolated. Reinforced. Remote. The perfect place to hide something worth running for. Callahan shifts the conversation. We leave within the hour. Before jurisdiction disputes escalate. Meaning? Liam asks. When government agencies argue over who controls you, Callahan says, you become an asset instead of a citizen. The words settle like weight on his chest. He thought being doubted was the worst part. He didn't understand the danger of being believed. A mechanic knocks on the door. Jet is prepped. Clearance is forged and filed. Forged, Liam echoes. For safety, Callahan says. Official channels would expose destination. Unofficial channels delay the chase. As they head toward the jet, a convoy guard approaches with a tablet. Sir, Director Hale attempted communication with the investigative unit. He offered cooperation in exchange for immunity. Liam stiffens. Hale isn't just betraying Callahan. He's bargaining with Liam's life. Callahan takes the tablet. His silence is more telling than anger. Liam breaks it. Why Hale? Why betray you? Because it's easier to align with power than protect the powerless, Callahan says. Some people chase safety. Others chase advantage. Which one am I? Right now, Callahan answers. You are the reason both sides move. They board the jet. Engines rumble. The hangar doors retract. As the aircraft begins taxiing, Liam looks out at the dark city skyline and feels the shift. The classroom humiliation is distant now, almost absurd in comparison. What began as a rumor is now a pursuit. What seemed like embarrassment is now strategy. He grips the armrest. What if I'm not ready? Callahan sits across from him. Readiness isn't a feeling, he says. It's action. You move forward whether you feel prepared or not. The jet turns onto the runway. Liam looks forward. For the first time, not at what he's losing, but at what he might uncover. The engines roar. The ground trembles. The city shrinks beneath them. They are officially airborne. And whoever wants him, wants Helix, will not let that go unanswered. The war for truth has begun. And Liam is no longer just reacting. He is entering the part of the story where running is no longer escape. It is strategy. Clouds swallow the jet as it climbs, turbulence shaking the cabin. Liam keeps his seatbelt fastened, knuckles white. He isn't afraid of flying. He's afraid of what waits at the end of the flight. Answers. Answers that could destroy whatever normal life he had left. Hannah sits beside a tactical console, fingers moving fast across encrypted files. We'll have a 30-minute window before any agency flags the forged clearance. After that, we'll be tracked. So we're racing time, Liam says. Time, Hannah replies. And the people who think you belong to them. Callahan stands near the cockpit, speaking through secure channels. He uses clipped phrases, extraction, asset, diversion, all designed to mask their intent. The language reminds Liam how easily a person becomes a problem to be handled rather than a life to be protected. The jet pierces through cloud cover. Twilight stretches across the horizon. Liam stares at his reflection in the window. Same hoodie, same face. But the boy staring back looks older than he remembers. What did my mother want? He asks finally. Not what she feared. What she wanted. Callahan takes his time answering. She wanted Helix to belong to everyone. Not governments. Not corporations. People. And the man funding it. Liam asks. He wanted control, Callahan says. Not cures, permissions. Liam shivers. So he saw her work as power. He saw everything as power, Callahan answers. Even you. The jet tilts slightly as the pilot adjusts course. The engines stabilize. The cabin lights dim. Hannah gestures for Liam to look at her console. We decrypted a fragment of her journal. Look, text scrolls across the screen. Encrypted phrases, chemical notations, personal entries written in bursts. One line stands out. He thinks immortality is a reward. I think survival should be a right. Another. If we succeed, the world changes. If he succeeds, the world obeys. Liam swallows hard. She was fighting him before she ran. Yes, Hannah says. And she knew the cost. A soft alarm chimes. Someone is scanning for aircraft in their sector. Callahan moves instantly. Cut emissions. Reduce altitude. Mask signature. The jet dips. Liam grips the armrest as weightlessness pulls at him. Hannah checks radar. Unmanned, likely. Recon, not intercept. But it means they're searching, Callahan mutters. They know we're airborne. The air becomes heavier. Silence stretches. Liam asks, how long did you know her? 3 years before she disappeared, Callahan replies. She wasn't afraid of enemies. She was afraid of allies. The distinction chills Liam more than threats. He tries to picture his mother, not a victim, not a scientist, but a person. Someone who laughed. Someone who hoped. Someone who chose to run rather than surrender her work. The cabin lights flicker as the jet breaks through another bank of clouds. Tell me about the night she died, Liam says quietly. Callahan exhales. I arrived too late. She sent you through a back exit before they breached the house. When I reached her, she had already taken the danger onto herself. Liam waits for more. For details. For closure. But Callahan goes silent. That's all. Liam presses. That's all I can say without telling you the part one I'm not ready to tell. Callahan replies. Liam stiffens. What part is that? The part where your mother trusted me, Callahan says. And I still failed her. The confession lands like a blow. Before Liam can respond, Hannah's screen pulses red. Intercept attempt. Someone is spoofing our clearance. Callahan moves. Pilot, execute alternate descent path. Prepare emergency reroute. The jet banks sharply. The world outside tilts, sky replaced by sea, then land. Liam clamps his eyes shut against vertigo. Who found us? He asks. Hannah scans signals. Not government. Encryption is private. Aggressive. Someone with resources. The same network that pursued us, Callahan says. The jet races lower, engines straining. If Liam wanted reassurance, there is none. He watches clouds tear apart under the wings. How far will they go? As far as necessary, Callahan says. Power does not negotiate with resistance. It eliminates it. Liam stares at him. And I'm resistance? You are proof, Callahan replies. Proof that Helix succeeded without their consent. The implications churn. He isn't just a symbol. He's evidence. Hannah overlays satellite imagery. We cannot reach the primary airfield. We'll land at an auxiliary strip instead. It's abandoned, Callahan warns. We'll be exposed. Not landing, Hannah says, is worse. The jet descends rapidly. The runway appears, cracked pavement cutting through untamed grass. The wheels hit the ground hard. The aircraft shudders, struggling for balance. They stop mere meters from a chain fence. Liam exhales the breath he didn't realize he was holding. As the engines cool, a stark silence replaces the roar. Guards disembark first, sweeping the perimeter, checking for threats. Hannah signals. Clear. They exit into humid air. Cicadas buzz. The wind whispers through tall grass. No city lights. No cameras. No civilians. Just isolation and time. Two things that feel both like gifts and traps. Callahan gestures toward an old utility truck parked under a corrugated shed. We switch vehicles. Avoid predictable paths. As they approach it, Liam glances back at the jet. Once we leave, he says quietly, there's no going back. There was no going back the moment that video surfaced, Callahan replies. This only makes it obvious. The truck engine coughs, then rumbles alive. They climb in. Dust rises behind the tires as they pull away. Miles of rural road stretch ahead. Forests. Fields. A silence that feels too big. Liam stares into the darkness beyond the headlights. What if I don't want any of this? The world doesn't ask what you want, Callahan says. It reacts to what you are. And what am I? Liam demands. A choice your mother made, Callahan answers. And a threat your father created. The wind howls against the truck doors. Liam sits with the weight of both truths. He is not hunted because he is weak. He is hunted because he matters. And now, because they ran, someone else will make the next move. The truck rattles along a dirt road that winds through dense forest, branches scraping the exterior like fingernails dragged across metal. Liam watches shadows flicker past the windows. His pulse matches the rhythm of the tires hitting ruts. Mara sits in the passenger seat, posture tense. Hannah remains in back, securing the encrypted drives, checking them every few miles like a medic checking a patient's pulse. Callahan drives, focused, silent, every sense attuned to the road and the darkness beyond it. Liam finally breaks the quiet. How long before they trace the landing? Minutes, Hannah answers. Hours if they hesitate. But hesitation isn't in their nature. Liam stares straight ahead. Because they want Helix. No, Mara says softly. They want control of Helix. That's different. He processes that in silence. A cure can save. A cure in the wrong hands can decide who gets saved. The truck's headlights cut through the trees, illuminating a crossroads. One path leads toward distant city lights. The other veers into darker terrain. Callahan turns toward the darkness. Liam frowns. You're avoiding population. Yes, Callahan says. The more eyes, the more cameras. And right now, we cannot be seen. He doesn't elaborate. He doesn't need to. Liam understands the weight beneath the words. If anyone identifies him, the chase escalates. The narrative shifts from rumor to proof. And proof draws predators. The road narrows until branches nearly brush the windows. The truck jolts over uneven ground. Mara motions ahead. There's an old safe house. Not perfect, but it buys time. Time for what? Liam asks. To decide whether we run farther, she replies, or confront what's coming. He hates that that's the only choice. A silhouette appears through the trees, a weathered cabin built of stone and timber, camouflaged by moss and vines. Callahan kills the headlights before rolling to a stop. The night swallows them whole. They exit the truck cautiously, no chatter, just movement. Callahan gestures to the perimeter. The driver sweeps the area. Hannah and Mara go inside first, clearing corners. Liam steps in last. The cabin smells of dust and old wood. Furniture is sparse. 2 cots, a small table, a fireplace long cold. It isn't comfort. It's survival. Hannah drops the insulated case on the table. This is everything we have, she says. But it's not everything she left. Mara nods. Your mother scattered her research. This facility held prototypes. But the completed formula? The real breakthrough? That's hidden elsewhere. And those coordinates are what we need. Liam finishes. No, Mara corrects. They're what everyone needs, if they ever hope to understand Helix. Liam sits on one of the cots, elbows on his knees. I don't know if I'm ready for this. You weren't ready when this started, Callahan says. You moved anyway. He doesn't say it like praise. He says it like fact. The fire crackles as Mara lights it, illuminating the room in warm orange glow. Shadows jump across the walls. Liam stares into the flames. What if running is wrong? Running isn't wrong, Mara says. Running without purpose is. And purpose? Liam asks. Finding out what your mother died for, Mara replies, and deciding who deserves to hold that power. He swallows hard. They aren't just fugitives. They are custodians of something world-shaping. A soft ping from Hannah's tablet slices through the moment. She stiffens. They're listening. Callahan's head snaps up. How? Not through us, Hannah says. Through comms we're not broadcasting. She turns the screen so they can all see the trace. They're tapping public channels, tracking chatter, social media, flight logs. This isn't a government agency anymore. Liam's stomach sinks. Then who? Mara answers without hesitation. Private, independent, loyal to him. Liam doesn't need the name. His father. Another ping. Hannah scrolls. They're using the video, she says. The classroom clip. It's gone from curiosity to conspiracy. They're labeling you. She stops herself. Liam already knows. Villain. Threat. Weapon. He never wanted any of this. But wanting doesn't matter anymore. Mara takes a seat across from him. There's another truth you need to understand before we move on. Liam braces. What truth? You are not the only child born from this research. The room goes still. Hannah looks up sharply. Callahan's jaw tightens. Liam's breath catches. What do you mean? Mara exhales. There were early test subjects. Failed. Lost. But there were also others. Others like me? No, Mara says. Not like you. You were the only one conceived after the treatment stabilized. But the earlier subjects, if any survived, they may be out there. Liam's world tilts again. So I'm not alone? You're unique, Mara says. And that makes you more valuable. More dangerous. Liam feels a shiver run down his spine. If there are others, they could be allies. Or enemies. Or reminders of what his father tried to build. Callahan finally speaks. That's why we move tomorrow. We head for the next location. And we hope we reach it before he does. And if we don't, Liam asks. Callahan looks directly at him. Then we stop reacting. He pauses. And we force him to reveal himself. It isn't a threat. It's strategy. The fire crackles. Outside, the forest is silent. Liam realizes the world is no longer chasing a rumor. It's chasing him. Not because he's a liar, but because he's proof. And now, if he wants to survive, he must stop thinking like prey and start thinking like someone worth hunting. He straightens, meeting Callahan's gaze. Then let's move, he says. Before he does, dawn comes reluctantly, gray light threading through the treetops like a warning rather than a welcome. The forest is quiet, too quiet. Callahan steps outside the cabin first, scanning the perimeter with binoculars. Hannah dismantles the comm equipment they used last night. Mara moves quickly, packing the drives, the notebook fragments, and the letter into separate cases so no single loss cripples them. Liam wakes to the smell of damp earth and lingering smoke from the dying fire. His muscles ache. His mind aches more. He is aware of every sound. The creak of the floorboards, the click of weapons being checked, the rustle of leaves outside. This is the first morning of the rest of his life. And it feels like gearing up for a war he didn't enlist in. We leave in 5, Callahan says. There's no debate. No hesitation. The longer they stay, the easier it becomes for anyone tracking them to close in. The truck rolls out. The road ahead is narrow and winding, shadowed by dense trees. The forest thins over miles, giving way to hills dotted with abandoned farmhouses and rusting machinery. Civilization exists on the horizon, never close, always distant. Liam watches it pass, wondering who's watching him. Hannah checks her tablet. They're shifting the narrative. Online commentary is changing tone. Worse, Liam asks. No, she answers. Smarter. Less speculation. More intent. Mara looks over. What kind of intent? To identify, Hannah replies. People are triangulating the school district, the footage angle, the cars in the parking lot. They're building a target, Callahan says. Us, Liam corrects. He feels the weight of that. Not just hunted by specialists. Hunted by crowds. Anonymous people behind screens who want answers. Some want truth. Some want spectacle. Some want to be the first to expose a lie. Except the lie isn't his. The truck reaches a plateau where the landscape opens into broad fields. A distant industrial skyline cuts against low clouds. That's the border city, Mara says. We skirt the outskirts. No main roads. Too many checkpoints. A dust plume appears far behind them. Barely visible, but fast. Liam stiffens. Company. Hannah zooms the feed. Not government, she says. Not military. Callahan doesn't need clarification. He knows who it is. They're closing distance, Hannah adds. Mara grips the door. We won't reach the rendezvous in time. Callahan signals sharply. Off-road. The truck veers left into open field, tires ripping through tall grass. Dirt flies. The engine protests. The suspension groans. The pursuing vehicle corrects course instantly. They predicted the turn, Hannah says. They know our route. Or our strategy, Mara mutters. The field ends abruptly at the edge of a dried riverbed. Rocky. Treacherous. Narrow. Callahan doesn't slow. The truck plunges down the slope, bouncing violently. Liam grabs the door frame, teeth clenching at every impact. They hit the riverbed and skid forward, throwing gravel in a wide arc. The pursuing vehicle hesitates at the edge. They accelerate. They're willing to wreck their suspension just to get to us, Liam says. No, Callahan corrects. Just to get to you. The riverbed tunnels forward. High rock walls trap the sound of engines, turning the chase into a thunderous echo chamber. A bend approaches. Sharp. Blind. Hold on. Callahan warns. The truck slams into the turn, skidding sideways. Loose gravel sprays. The rear bumper clips stone. The frame shudders. Liam's shoulder hits the window. But they make it. The pursuing vehicle isn't as lucky. It overshoots, slamming into the wall. Metal screams. Dust explodes. But they don't stop. They reverse. Correct. Keep coming. Persistent, Mara says tightly. Desperate, Callahan counters. The riverbed widens suddenly, splitting into two diverging paths. Left or right? Hannah asks. Mara checks the map. Left leads to the industrial outskirts. Right leads to cliffs. Cliffs, Callahan says immediately. Liam turns. Cliffs. They can follow us on flat ground, Callahan says. They cannot follow us where precision matters. Hannah hesitates. And if we misjudge? We won't, Callahan says. He turns right. The terrain shifts again, stone instead of gravel, sharp and uneven. The truck jolts violently. Rocks scrape the undercarriage. The air thins. The world drops away on their left. A sheer cliff falling into mist-shrouded forest far below. Liam's stomach lurches. Closer, Callahan says. To the edge? Liam asks, incredulous. Yes, Callahan replies. We make them doubt. The pursuing vehicle appears again. Closer, faster, reckless. Liam watches them advance and shouts over the engine. They'll run us off the road. No, Callahan answers. They think we'll panic. The cliff's edge crumbles beneath their tires. The pursuers hesitate. Just a second. Just instinct. And that second buys distance. They're falling behind, Hannah reports. And they know cliffs aren't our destination, Mara adds. We'll still need to reach the coordinates. That's the point, Callahan says. They think cliffs force us to retreat. They won't consider we're using them to gain ground before we double back. The riverbed ends at a plateau with two exit points. One visible, one concealed by brush. Callahan doesn't brake. He guns the engine and plows through the brush toward the concealed path. Branches snap. Rocks scatter. The truck lands on uneven ground. Liam grips the dashboard to steady himself. They'll search the obvious exit, Callahan says. Not the one they assume is impassable. And when they find the tracks? Liam asks. We'll already be gone. Minutes stretch. The engine cools. The dust settles. And for the first time since dawn, silence. No pursuing engines. No headlights. No dust plume. They lost us, Hannah says. No. Callahan replies quietly. We lost them. Liam turns. Meaning? They know we're heading for the coordinates, Callahan says. They'll go straight there. Realization hits hard. The chase wasn't about intercepting them. It was about prediction. They're not just following, Liam says. They're planning. Exactly, Callahan says. Which means we don't have the advantage we thought we had. Mara opens the map again, this time with urgency instead of caution. We need a new approach, she says. Not just running. Not just hiding. Liam leans forward. What approach? Mara meets his eyes. We stop thinking like prey, she says, and start thinking like the people hunting us. Liam breathes out slowly. For the first time since this began, the fear inside him shifts, making room for something else. Resolve. He isn't just running for his life anymore. He's running for the truth. And if the people chasing him know where he's going, then the next move must be one they cannot predict. By late afternoon, The sky turns a bruised purple, heavy with the promise of rain. The truck crawls along a forest access trail, less a road and more a suggestion, far from main routes and surveillance grids. The engine's hum is the only steady sound. Everything else feels like breath held too long. They stop at a valley overlook. Below them is a sprawling industrial city, smokestacks, shipping depots, rail lines. Farther south, beyond the haze, lies the border they need to cross. And beyond that, where the coordinates point, Liam presses his palms against the hood of the truck, letting the cold metal ground him. "Tell me the plan," he says. Callahan studies the map on the hood. "We can't reach the border by road. They'll be waiting." "Then how?" Liam asks. "We break pattern," Hannah answers. "We abandon the truck. Move on foot through the ridge trails. Slip past the checkpoints where vehicles are required to stop. That slows us down," Liam notes. "Yes," Callahan agrees. "And that's what makes it unpredictable." Mara adjusts her pack. "Your father's network assumes speed and force. They expect you to run like a fugitive, not like someone who knows the terrain." Liam takes that in. For days, he's been thinking like prey. Now, they're asking him to think like a survivor. He nods. "So we hike." They hide the truck beneath a camo tarp and branches. Every step from here is slower, quieter, deliberate. The trail is narrow, winding along a steep ridge. Below, the city hums like a sleeping giant. Hours pass. The hike tests all of them, lungs burning, legs heavy. Night falls. They switch to low-light goggles. Liam stumbles once on loose rocks, catching himself with a palm scraped raw. Callahan helps him up without comment. They keep moving. Eventually, they reach a plateau where the forest thins. A cluster of old communication towers looms overhead, rusted, ghost-like. Hannah points. "We rest there." The structures break heat signatures and scatter drones. They settle near the towers, using the concrete bases as cover. Hannah kneels with the tablet. "I decrypted another segment of Celine's data. There's a message embedded." Liam leans closer. The screen displays. Not a cure. A key. Not evolution. Prevention. The catalyst ensures integrity. Mara murmurs. "Integrity? Meaning?" Liam asks. "That without you," Hannah says, "Helix cannot be activated as intended." Liam's heart thuds. "So if they get the research, but not me?" "It's incomplete," Mara finishes. "Dangerous. Possibly unusable. And with me?" "It becomes powerful," Callahan says. "Too powerful." Silence settles. It's no longer about chasing a discovery. It's about possessing a person. Liam. Not for his mind. Not for his identity. But for his genetic link to Helix. He feels sick. "I wasn't a mistake," Liam says quietly. "I was a contingency." "Your mother believed you were more than that," Callahan replies. "That's why she ran." A distant hum cuts through the night. A drone. Not military. Private. Silent. Hannah motions sharply. Down. No movement. They press against concrete. The drone's searchlight sweeps the ridge, slicing through dark. It lingers. Searching. Expecting. Liam's pulse hammers in his throat. After a long moment, the drone veers away. Callahan speaks low. "They're tightening the net. They think we're near the border. They want you cornered." "We can't outrun them," Liam whispers. "No," Callahan agrees. "So we don't." Mara turns. "What are you suggesting?" "A diversion," he says. "Something bold. Something they won't anticipate." Hannah raises a brow. "You have an idea?" "Yes," Callahan replies. "We give them exactly what they've been demanding." Liam stiffens. "You want to confront them?" "No," Callahan corrects. "I want to control the confrontation." He draws a line in the dirt. "This ridge. The valley. The checkpoints. They expect a crossing." He draws another, farther west. "This is where we cross instead." Mara leans in. "That's terrain with no access." "Not for vehicles," Callahan says. "For people." "And the diversion?" Hannah asks. Callahan looks at Liam. "You." Liam's pulse spikes. "Me?" "They want to chase you," Callahan says. "So we let them chase a version of you. A decoy." Hannah nods slowly. "We can spoof biometric traces. Plant false signals. Feed them movement toward the obvious crossing. And while they chase that," Mara adds, "we move west through unusable terrain." Liam exhales shakily. "It's dangerous. It's smart. It means weaponizing their obsession. But if they catch the decoy, they'll realize too late," Callahan says. "And by then we'll be gone." Liam looks up at the faint glow of the city beneath them. He remembers a classroom, a cheap hoodie, a 10-second video. That world is gone. He's no longer a rumor. He's leverage. He's a key. He's the one thing his father cannot control without consent. And for the first time, he realizes something startling. He has power, not the kind built on force or wealth, but the kind built on value, the kind that makes the hunter hesitate. He meets Callahan's gaze. "Let's do it," he says. Callahan nods. Mara exhales. Hannah begins the spoof. Signals flash across her screen. Fake heat signatures. Artificial biometric traces. The illusion of movement toward the main crossing. And deep in the city below, vehicles mobilize. Helicopters lift. Drones pivot. They take the bait. As the night swallows the ridge and pursuit scatters toward the wrong target, Liam speaks quietly. "We're not prey anymore." "No," Callahan replies. "We're setting the trap. Because the next step isn't escape. It's confrontation. On their terms." And for the first time since this began, Liam feels the shift. He isn't just being hunted. He's beginning to hunt back. The convoy cuts through the city under rain and neon. Liam watches his reflection in the armored window and barely recognizes the boy staring back. He used to worry about grades and teachers. Now he is leaving the country because governments and private networks are fighting over the project his mother died to protect. On the jet, Hannah decrypts fragments from the drive. Helix Protocol was not just a treatment. It was a foundation for a world where viral disasters could be controlled. In the right hands, it saves lives. In the wrong hands, it decides who gets to have one. Liam listens and understands one brutal truth. They do not need him for what he remembers. They need him as proof. Proof that his mother's work still exists. Proof that someone can claim it. Hostile vehicles reach the airstrip as the jet races down the runway. Bullets chase them, but the aircraft lifts, leaving the first wave of hunters behind. It proves something chilling. Whoever wants him is not just government. It is a private network with resources, reach, and no patience for public rules. At altitude, Hannah cracks another layer of code. One term jumps out. Catalyst. A note triggers like a trap. If found, protect the bearer. Target. Neutralize catalyst. "Is that me?" Liam asks. "Yes," Hannah says. "At least according to this file." His mother shielded him from experiments, but he might still carry something that ties directly into Helix. Data. Genetics. Symbolic power. He is no longer just a witness. He is an axis. The jet lands at a forgotten airstrip in his mother's homeland. Dr. Mara Ibekwe meets them, the colleague who warned Celine to run. She takes them to the old facility carved into the hillside, a lab frozen in time with equations still ghosted on the walls and a hidden vault in the floor. Inside the vault are drives, vials, and an envelope with his name. For Liam, everything stops. He reads his mother's letter in silence. She explains how she met the man who funded Helix, how his vision turned from healing to control, how she chose to flee and chose Callahan to stand between that man and her son. She warns him he will be called a liar, that people will find it easier to mock his story than believe it. That doubt might protect him longer than truth. One line burns into him. "I ran from him, but I ran toward you." Liam looks at Callahan and finally understands. He was not an accident in someone's experiment. He was a choice. There is no time to breathe through that. Vehicles approach the facility. Hale's betrayal has rippled outward. Someone followed the trail. They escape through old maintenance tunnels, climb a ladder into a ravine, fight their way out through forest roads while unmarked vehicles close in behind them. The chase threads them toward a small border crossing. Cargo gates. A handful of guards. Two exposed. As they break out of the trees, a black SUV waits ahead. Not rushing them. Blocking them. A man steps out. He does not shout. He does not draw a weapon. He just looks at Liam through the windshield, as if confirming a calculation he made years ago. Even at a distance, Liam feels the connection. The way the man holds himself. The sharpness in his gaze. The quiet assumption that the world will rearrange around his decisions. The pursuing cars stop behind them. Engines idle. Border guards freeze, caught between authority they know and authority they only recognize from whispers. Callahan steps forward. "You are early," he says. "You are stubborn," the man replies. "You kept him hidden far longer than expected." His attention never leaves Liam. "You have been difficult to find," he says. "So was your mother." The word mother lands like a blade. Liam forces his voice to hold steady. "What am I to you?" The man answers like he is reading a report. You are proof our ambition worked. A variable that survived. An outcome we can use. He speaks about Liam the way others speak about weapons. Not as a person, as leverage. Come with me, the man says. Willingly. Publicly. You will be protected. You will understand what you are. And if I do not, Liam asks, then I take you, the man says calmly. And the world can blame you for what follows. Engines behind them grow louder. Border guards back away. Everyone is waiting for Liam's answer. He remembers his mother's letter. You are not his key. You are his mirror. He steps out from behind the Jeep door, no longer letting Callahan stand between them. I am not going with you, Liam says. For a breath, there is silence. Then the man smiles, not with warmth, but with satisfaction. That, he says quietly, is the first true mistake you have made. He snaps his fingers. Engines roar. Vehicles surge forward. And everything that has been hunting Liam finally moves at once. If you want to find out what happens when the boy the world called a liar finally fights back against the man who thinks he owns him, like this video, hit subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode. Because after this moment, Liam stops running from his story and starts rewriting it. All hell breaks loose.